Hi everyone! Today I'll show you how to upload your traditional art to Design by Humans, which is a print-on-demand site that handles the payment, printing and shipping for you. I'll put timestamps below so you can skip ahead if you just want to see a certain part of this video. So, I've made videos like this about Redbubble and Society6, which are the main pod sites that I use. I've tried a few others too, but they either had really low profit margins or high payment thresholds, so they never paid what they owed me. And so far, Redbubble and Society6 have been the only ones that have actually paid me something for what I've sold. I wanted to try another one though, and Design by Humans is one that had sent me a few emails in 2016, and I actually made an account then, but didn't end up adding designs until now. Design by Humans offers less product types and you can't set your own profit margins like in Redbubble, but the fixed profit margins, however, seem to be a bit higher than on Society6, for example. If you're interested, I can also make a comparison video of the pod sites I've tried from the point of view of an artist, comparing the profit margins, the analytics they offer, the uploading systems and so on. But now let's get to uploading your art. I have other videos on how to edit your scanned artworks, like adjusting contrast and sharpness or making the background transparent and so on. There'll be a link on the video somewhere or in the description below. However, if you scan your artwork in higher than 300 dpi resolution, you need to scale it down for Design by Humans. I usually scan in 600 dpi, so I'll show you two ways to scale it down in GIMP, which is the free image editing software I use. Open the scan in GIMP and go to Image and Print Size. Here you can see the size and the resolution of the image. Change the resolution to pixels per inch, and now you can see it's about 600, so change that to 300. Click OK and export the image as PNG. I also added in the file name that it's 300 dpi, just so I can easily see which version this is. Alternatively, you can use their own template by going to Design by Humans website, logging in and clicking on your user icon, and you'll find a download link to the artwork template. Download that and open it in GIMP. Open your artwork as a layer on top of the template, and then scale the layer to fit inside the template. GIMP shows you the dimensions of the template in the top bar, so right-click on the layer and choose Scale Layer from the menu. And in this case I'm setting the width to match the template, which is 4320 pixels wide. And then click Scale. Now hide the instructions on the template by clicking the eye icon and again export as PNG. I'm actually going to use a version of this painting with a transparent background for some of the products, so I'll scale that too. Now let's start actually adding the products. Click on your user icon again and then the Add Product button. There are 5 product types you can add, or actually I think they've added mousepads since I filmed this video last week. But let's start with apparel. Upload the image you edited. If the resolution or the file size is too big, uploading will not work and you'll need to scale down the image further and try again. You could scale down the image a bit at this point too, from the double-ended arrow in the bottom right corner. This might be kind of big for a t-shirt. You can fit or fill, which means that the design either fits into the print area so that the whole design is visible, or that it fills the area and the edges may be cut off. You can center it and or align it to the top or bottom or left or right. I'll use the top. Next, add colors. Remember to select the default color your design will show on. The first color you select will be the default unless you change it. If you select color options and the default color for the first t-shirt product, the selections will pass on to the rest of them. However, some of them don't have the same colors available, so the first color selections don't apply to all of them. You can also choose the model that will be used for your design for each different shirt type. I usually go with the default one though, because the images are loading kind of slow, which might just be the laptop I'm using though. For some products, you can select whether you want the image to be in the front or in the back. Remember to set the colors for each product or deselect the product if you don't want it. And then click continue and add more products like phone cases. You can use the same image or upload another one. And again select the colors that suit your design. And then place the image how you want it. And use the preview button to check how the final product would look. Let's do art prints next. For this one I want to use the version with the original background, so I'll upload that one. The colors that we chose for the phone cases show up here, but since the image already had a background, I don't want the pastel background color options anymore, so I'll just remove them. This time I'll set the image style to fill so that you can't see any background color, but a bit of the edges are cut off. What I didn't realize until after uploading a bunch of art is that there's a sync icon, which is on by default, so any settings you do for one of the art print sizes apply to all of them. You might not want the same settings for all of them though, so in that case click on the sync icon to turn it red, and then you can use different settings for that product without affecting the others. Let's do stickers next. If you have a version with a transparent background, use that. No colors or settings for this one. And finally, mugs. Designed by Humans does not have tools to turn your design into a pattern in any other product but mugs. So I'm using the repeat tool to have a row of elephants instead of just one. I'm using the fit height setting for size so that there's nothing extra on top or below the elephant. And you can click the arrows to see the mug from different angles. If it looks funny around the handle, like if there would be half an elephant in this case, you can drag the repeat handle so that the space between them is wider, and then drag the image to the right place. Then click the arrows again to find the best angle to showcase the design, because that will be the default view of the mug. And remember to select the background colors too. If you want to use a repeating pattern for any of the other products, you need to make it yourself. I linked to a playlist about making repeating patterns in GIMP. Then click the I'm done adding products, start adding details button. Add a title, description and tags. I usually have a list of tags in a file I can just copy paste to different sites I upload the same design to. But you can't paste the list of tags separated by commas here, so I either copy paste one tag at a time or just start writing the tag and see what comes up as suggested. And then you can add 6 categories. So you can choose the main category like animals and then either add that or further choose a subcategory like elephant in this case. The categories are for both topics and styles of the design. Accept the legal terms and conditions and save the product. Once it's done saving and processing, it will show you the final listing. I suggest you again click on the user icon in the upper right corner and go straight to your store dashboard. Find the design. If you have multiple designs, it's easiest to find the newest one by filtering by date added. Click on the pencil icon to edit the design. Check if all the products are added. For some reason, the mugs never show up for me right away, so I need to go back and edit the mugs and move the toggle to sell instead of hide. Even though when I saved the design, mugs were on sell. I don't know why, but this happens to me every time. And then click save and exit. Your designs will not be automatically visible or searchable in Designed by Humans like they would be in other bot sites I've used. They actually manually review them, which seems to take from a few days to a week. And after that, they'll send you an email that says your products are ready to be shared, and at that point they can be found if you search the title of your design, for example. I've had one design declined so far, saying that it did not meet their printing requirements, which may be because of distortion, blurry lines, or low resolution. The design had faded out edges, so I think that's why, and I'll try to edit that one again. You can see the stats of your designs in the dashboard, meaning the views and sales of each product or design. I was expecting to say that since the shop is so new and I haven't really had time to share it on social media yet, I won't have any data of visits or sales to show you in this video. But actually, after about a week or week and a half since adding the first designs, I did make my first sale. There was no email notification of the sale though, I could only see it in the dashboard. I'm skeptic about the view counts, however, because the design that had one sale also had one view or visit, and the others didn't seem to have any visits. So I don't know what they count as a visit, but it's unlikely that it had one view and 100% conversion rate. I think it would be very useful to see the view stats though. You'd know what people are looking for the most, and once you have some sales, you can compare how many sales you have per views to figure out what type of designs sell best on this site and so on. However, Society6 does not show you any view analytics. Redbubble used to show them, but then they started looking very inaccurate at some point, like I'd have a sale on a design that had no views and so on. And they eventually removed the view analytics altogether. Although you can connect your Redbubble shop to Google Analytics and see the view counts that way. If you see some other products on the site like all over print sweaters or swimsuits, those are from art contests they've had in the past. They do have monthly design challenges though, where you can submit new or existing designs that fit the theme into the challenge, and they'll choose the best ones to showcase in a collection, so you have a better chance of getting your design featured and seen by more people. For more tips on how to edit your traditional art, click on the playlist on the screen. Thanks for watching!